19 minutes.
Cool. Let's try to make this 10 minutes. What's up, everybody? It's really bright outside. So,
Killing me.
it's Nick, we got Josh here. Today we're talking about college because whether you're on LinkedIn, you're watching Gary Vee on YouTube, everybody's talking about whether college is worth it in 2019 and the upcoming years when a lot of stuff you can learn on your own. So I wanted to make a video because I think college is still worth the investment. Josh pretty much agrees. So to start this off, we'll talk a little bit about there's kind of that group that college is not right for. So I'll let Josh kind of do a quick little dive into some of the profiles of people who college isn't right for.
Yeah, so I think, and this is a great place to do this here in Winter Park, actually. the people I think that college is probably just not cut out for, or maybe maybe not the best stop for them to get into is, one, the people who already have some kind of income, right? Because a lot of people go into college looking for a job when they graduate. They're trying to get the piece of paper to give them income. And I think that's one of the profiles I think would fit with maybe college needs to be something you explore if it's right for you or not, and that's you have a source of income. You have some kind of income that you're happy with that suits your lifestyle. Yeah. The second profile I think really aligns with taking a double take with college is the people who already have an organization set up. So the entrepreneurs, right? So there is a source of income, but you're already super satisfied with the company you have, the organization you have created. So not only do you match that first profile, you have a source of income, but you already have a company, you already have your own lifestyle you've created.
Yeah, whether that's a company or you have a manager because you just bomb on social media and you got thousands of followers bringing in thousands of dollars every single month and you're supporting yourself. So I mean, other than those two things, unless you're the type of person who can, maybe work 40 hours waitressing or some other like side hustle while you are learning your craft, whether that's coding, graphic design, videography on the side, and so that way, a couple years you can learn that without going into debt to learn it, then that's great. But if you don't have that type of self-discipline, maybe college is right for you. So kind of transferring over into our college experience, I went to the University of Tennessee for one semester, transferred to the University of Akron. I got in and out in 3 years, largely because I wanted to get it through college as fast as possible, with as little debt as possible too. So there's one thing you can do to minimize the amount of debt you're leaving college with is fast track yourself. I was through 3 years, got my degree, started my own company, had a couple of side jobs along the way, was a D1 athlete for a little bit, so I got to test that out, and then graduated and moved across the country to Orlando.
Yeah, my college career was a little different than Nick's. I did not get out as quickly as he did. I spent 4.5 years. I really screwed up my first semester, and that was because I was focusing on one portion of college, which was important to me, was the social aspect. But I got into school. I got into school because I was told that was what I needed to do. So I got into school, figured out really where I started to become comfortable and successful, and it was really sales and marketing. And my final year, I spent a lot of time trying to earn that piece of paper in the right type of job that I thought I aligned with, and sure enough ended up meeting the right people, getting the correct connections in my eyes. It's of course all relative, but getting the correct connections, got a job straight out of college and started making money and chipping away at the debt that I had accrued from college.
Yeah, so we're both kind of on the opinion that going to college is right for the large majority of people. So why you should go to college? One, I think going into a structured environment of, not only learning your general education requirements, but the fine details of what your major is, whether it's sales, marketing, engineering. Sometimes you have to go to college if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. But going to college not only gives you that academic experience that you're not going to get unstructured. I mean, how many people are going to sit through and read a humanities book if you're learning coding by yourself? But then again, you get a lot of those kind of like secondary lessons in life that kind of help you be an overall well-rounded person, rather than I'm going to sit down and just focus on this one topic for the next 2 or 3 years. And then apart from just the academics, I think the social aspect is a really big thing, where now it's your first taste of being on your own and, you know, forming that group of friends, forming that group apart from having your parents kind of shadowed over you. Like, it's a bigger sense of freedom really that you get for those several years, whether you're in a fraternity, you're on a track team, you meet people in new social settings, partying, doing whatever. Again, something you're not going to get if you're just not in that type of setting with tens of thousands of kids around you.
Yeah, I think Nick touches on a really good point here too, in terms of who college is really right for. And you're talking about people that are like doctors or engineers. You need a degree to get the job, or maybe you need a shit ton of structure in your day to figure out what you're going to do. And I think what that really all just ties together, and I think the culmination of this entire conversation is really just taking a look internally and asking, why do you actually want to go to school? Because I even talk to people that have gone and gotten their masters or their doctorates, and it really is, they ask themselves the same thing. Why do I want to go back to school for the next 2 years? Is it for a degree? Is it because I want to get a job that requires that degree? Or am I just scared to go do life? So I think that's one of the big things, and one of the things I think ties to what Gary Vee always talks about is, why are you really going to school? And so that kind of ties to what you were just talking about. And then the social aspect is one of the things that I wanted out of school, was making sure that, number one, I could create a network and build up the ability to talk to people, because I think communication is a lost art, especially with the way the world is going at this point. So being able to hold a conversation and actually listen versus hear is a massive strength in interviews and job opportunities. But I think that the social aspect of college is one of the things that really took me to, and I was really excited to see that in school, especially being as sheltered as I was when I was a kid.
So if you're ending up going to college, if you're that high school junior, senior, or the parent of a kid that age, and you're looking to go, how can you make the most out of it? So, I mean, the big topic around the conversation of college is it worth the investment, the financials? And you hear people say, $60,000, $100,000 in debt for going to college. You don't have to come out of college with nearly that much debt. I mean, you can go to community college for 2 years if you need to, work a part-time job, then go to your 4-year school to get your bachelor's degree, and come out with very little debt. And if you take yourself seriously and have some self-discipline, get good grades, earn scholarships, and come out with as little debt as possible. You don't have to go to Harvard, Vanderbilt, Wake Forest, Stanford, and pay 70 grand a year to get a good education. I went to a state school up in Ohio on academic scholarship and came out with barely any loans that I'm hoping to have paid off within a year or two of graduating college. So I think financially there's a lot that you can do around making the best financial decision when coming out with as little debt. How about you, Josh?
100%. I grew up middle class. I had parents that helped me out. They put money towards a prepaid scholarship, but I still had to get a scholarship. I had a 4.1 in high school, had to earn that scholarship, had to work through college, and I still came out with some debt. I think it was probably 7-8 grand worth of debt that I got to pay off from the job that I, again, earned. So I think if you want to go to school, if you want to go experience, if you want to live on campus, if you want to go to community college, it really doesn't matter what the situation is. I know that was a little bit of a whoa, too. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If you want to go to school, then you can get it done. Again, I'm talking from the middle class side, so I know there's other people that have to work 3 jobs, but that's the thing. I had friends that were working 3 jobs, and they still ended up with a little bit of debt, but they graduated with a really great job, ended up paying it off. So back to what we were talking about earlier. If you want it, you gotta ask why and go get it done.
And then apart from the financials, we touched on the academics and the social aspect, but I mean, college gives you access not only to, thousands or tens of thousands of other students your age, but potentially hundreds of thousands of alumni. So once you're in college and you kind of figure out what you want to do afterwards, whether that be, your role, the industry, or location, figure out the professors and the alumni who can help you make the connections to get to where you want. I went to a school in Akron, Ohio, and met the founder of a company in Orlando, Florida, to move down here. That would not have happened without one, getting close with the professor who introduced me to the board, where I met him and I stayed in touch with him as kind of like a mentor-mentee kind of thing. I am now in touch with an executive producer on Hollywood because of Akron. I know the CMO of a huge startup out on the western half of the country who used to be at YouTube. The people that you can meet and the people who are willing to meet you as well because of that college connection is something that is going to exponentially kind of decide how good of an investment college can really be. And I think that's where you start to see some of the arguments for places like Harvard, Yale, Stanford come in. As you go to a place like Harvard, yes, because the education there is amazing, but also look at the people who have gone there in the past, and if you make the most of networking, you might come out with that, Boston, New York City, Wall Street job, or that California startup job because of the connections you're going to meet there. So I think networking is definitely, for me, the biggest piece of making your college experience worth it.
Wow, the biggest piece, I have to agree. I think networking and actually building that social ability in college is something that I don't think people are necessarily paying for, but it's something that you definitely get, whether you like it or not. Even if you're a little introverted, if you're walking around campus, you are forced to talk to other people in an adult setting. This is not elementary school, this is not high school, everybody's walking the same halls anymore. You're out in public now. And I think the one piece is the social aspect and actually just talking with other human beings. And the other piece is what Nick's talking about, is actually having a network that you can use for the rest of your life. And it's not just meeting somebody and expecting them to help you out in 10 years. It's just, that's how it works. You meet certain people, you meet your professors, you meet owners of companies, you meet the kids of the owners, and in 3 years you might be just exiting a job. They see that on LinkedIn, and the conversation that you had your senior year of college might spark their reason to reach out to you. And then now you have a job like Nick here in the middle of Central Florida. I moved all over the country for the job I got out of college, and it was because of the people I met in college that I earned that. And I have to say that networking is one of the things that you get without knowing you're paying for it in college.
Yep, I mean, I think the argument of college being worth the investment, it's not just the face value, the tangible, I have this degree. There's a lot of intangible skills and opportunities where it is not this diploma for this amount of money. There's a lot other things that are built in there that you can learn. So we're not trying to say you should definitely go to college, but I think we're trying to present a little bit of an argument on what value college can bring if it's right for you. So if you are that junior or senior, sit down, have the self-awareness, think about what position you are in, and then if you went to college, let us know in the comments below what you thought. Was it worth it for you? Yeah, we'd like to hear it.
Sweet.
Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
Adios.
Beautiful.